everybody, and welcome to 500 Open Tabs. I'm Kaveh Taherian.
And I'm Hannah Hillam. Welcome.
Welcome to the show, Hannah. How you doing? You're looking like a bit sweaty, just like me right now. Although I did just come out of the shower, and I didn't get a chance to, dry myself properly beforehand. But you know what? It's an audio medium, so it doesn't really matter.
Except it's a video podcast because we live in hell.
Yeah,
we
but
have
no
to
one
make
watches
videos.
our video podcast unless you subscribe to our YouTube. Which, if you haven't done so, go do so right now, so you can see our wet hair,
our sweaty, wet. Yeah,
Couple
we both
of
look
wet
like we've
dogs.
been kind of in the pool, but we're both. Yeah, my hair is wet right now.
Yes.
But not the bangs. That's all that matters, you know. And I was going to cover most of it with the headphones, but those aren't working.
It's not working.
Starting well.
That's
but
an incredible
well.
intro to our podcast. If this is the first time you're listening to it, you're going to be like, I need to listen to the other 81 episodes of
They're
hair
not
being
much
sweaty.
Let me just break it to you. We are clumsy when we intro. But yeah, everything's good.
Good.
This coming weekend is GalaxyCon, so you're
That's right. Galaxy
coming
Brain,
up here
come meet
tomorrow.
us. That's right. I'm going to be coming to San Jose. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be at a table that has no line, theoretically, unless you show
Probably
up, in which
not.
case you will be the only line to come
I
see
don't
us
think so.
if you're in the San Jose area. I have no idea what to expect. I'm not sure if we talked about this on mic or off mic, but I don't have any idea what the crowds are like in San Jose.
I talked to somebody who said they're usually good, but I don't know what that means. So I'm
yeah,
preparing.
I was like, good by what metric? I mean, like, they could be nice, but I just don't know what kind of people come out in San Jose compared to, because each convention you do, you definitely get like a lot of the same kinds of people because like they're all kind of attracted to the same materials. But then within each one of those groups, there's like a subgroup. Like Chicago people are very different than New York crowds than the Seattle crowds, and it's kind of like an interesting, weird, fascinating, like not cultural, was anthropological study. So I'm curious to see what San Jose will be like, because I don't really know what to expect. I don't know if it's going to be like a bunch of tech people or it's all the people that hate tech people that would come, which is what I would think would be more of what would turn out. But I don't know, maybe not.
Or there's some down the middle who are tech people, but they hate themselves, which in that case, you'll fit right in.
Yeah. We're going to report back, though, because I'm sure everyone's fascinated to know this. But...
So excited to know this. They listen to this podcast, not for what we say, but all about the cons we go to and the planning for them and who to expect. But yeah, no, it'll be fun. If it's not fun, at least you and I will have fun. And we'll probably do some sort of live stream. So go check that out. Go look at our Instagram.
We always have a good time. Yes.
To see what fun things we're going to be doing that you can access from wherever you are.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good plug. Good job. You sound like a professional now.
Wow, 82 episodes it took me. 82 episodes.
You can access from wherever you are. I like that. That sounded like it was written by like a proper writer.
Yeah.
A copy editor of some sort.
I used to be able to write. Kind of not anymore. But well, hey, so before we get going, though, I wanted to shout out some of our new patrons. Yeah. And there's 4 new ones, and it's Alexa. What up, Alexa? Sorry you have that name. That's kind of the worst.
Oh, yeah, in terms of, not because of that's a bad name, but because it'll spark the audio
name.
Listening, the spying devices in our homes that are always listening.
Yeah, I refuse to have an Alexa. Here, I'm going to mess everybody up. Alexa! Did anybody reply? Did Alexa listen? Alexa, call the FBI. No, I'm just kidding. Alexa. Okay, so shout out to Alexa. And then we got Lane. Hey, Lane.
Lane.
What's up, Lane. And Jessica.
Classic
name. I'm just going to critique all the names. And then we have Pink as a Fling Mango.
Oh, that's a cool name. Isn't that somebody from the Discord?
I think so.
I believe that's somebody from the Discord.
Okay.
It's pink like a plank like a flame.
Plank like a flamingo.
Flamingo.
Pink as a Fling Mango.
Fling mango. I like fling mango because it's also like you can just fling a mango at somebody.
Yeah, just throw it at somebody. I wouldn't waste
precious mango like that. Do you know how expensive that shit is?
Yeah, right? They're like $3 a mango. Well, I don't know. How much could it be?
Much like how much it costs to join our Patreon. So if you want to go fling, you could be flinging pieces of mango, or you could support us on Patreon. So please go ahead and do that. Or give us
10 cents a day.
Yeah,
I think.
Remember last time you were like, a penny a day for 30 days is $300, and I was like, I'm not going to correct you because I don't know any better either.
Dude, I don't know. It's bad. I'm hoping it's 10 cents a day, and for that price, you could get almost nothing. Nothing costs that. So.
Nothing costs 10 cents. Thank you guys for joining the Patreon. Shout out to all those new members. And with that, Hannah, why don't we get into part 2 of your Jesus automaton from last week? What was it called?
It was called the Mechanical Messiah.
The Mechanical Messiah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear more about this.
I was going to say, this is weird. This is the first time we both know what the other is going to be talking about
That's
today.
true. This is the only time that we've ever gone into it having a full understanding of where this is going. Although you don't know how stupid my tab's going to get.
I can guess.
You can probably guess, yeah.
I'm excited because this tab almost broke my brain. In
Same with mine.
Oh, did it? Great.
Yeah.
Well, turns out when somebody builds a mechanical Jesus and then you try to figure out what he meant by all of it 150 years later, it's real hard. So to catch you up, if you, for some reason, didn't listen to last week's, what?
All I wanted to say is I hope that somehow in Kumatab we get Charles Del Shaw versus the mechanical Jesus guy. Either on the same team or against each other, because I don't know who's going to win. Honestly, that's a tough one.
I'm pretty sure the mechanical Jesus guy, because today we're going to get into some custom armor he builds. I'm not even kidding. There is custom armor involved in this. Don't
forget about Charles Del Shaw's resilience despite great tragedy over and over again. I feel like that counts for something.
This guy's kind of had a charmed life.
Yeah, I feel like if he had half the life that Charles Del Shaw had, he wouldn't have made it through. He wouldn't have made this mechanical armor. Anyway, I've interrupted. Please continue. Please tell us the next part of the story.
To catch you up, John Murray Spear is about to build his mechanical messiah, which he calls the new mode of power. And at the time, a lot of people were really into this idea of like perpetual motion machine, like trying to use electricity to make things power everything. And they didn't really know how to use it at this point. Everyone, I mean, they could guess. So with all new technology, we're like, what are we going to do with this?
How do we make money off of it? How do I use it to control other people? How do I further my wealth that is already more than any king in the history of the world?
Yeah. And unfortunately, John Murray Spears had not a single bone in his body that was good at money.
That seems fortunate, not unfortunate. That seems like he's trying to help it for the good of humanity rather than for the good of himself.
He did not make money off of this. Well, I'll tell you that much.
Relate.
Hashtag relatable. We're just trying to do the best for humanity, okay? Look, all our little art, all our little fun little drawings are just little tiny mechanical messiahs.
Just trying to help you make it through your day so you're like, somebody else feels the way that I do, and here's some cool, funny drawings too on top of it.
Let's do it. And, whatever. I'll get into that. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I let everyone know that at the time, the fact that he was doing this is not uncommon. Like, yes, the mechanical messiah is uncommon, and everyone was like, what the heck?
No, but he's a founder in the Valley. That's basically what he is. He's like, I got an idea for a new app that's going to change paradigms and shifts. And people are like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's pretty much like
he's a founder.
He's a
little bit crazy, and but he's messianic, and everyone's like, but maybe he will change the world.
Maybe. And well, those handful of people that believe in him, yes.
Yeah.
And if he could make money, then he probably would have changed the world in some way. But so far, he's just insane. And to catch you up, he was once an abolitionist.
Right.
He was a universalist minister. He was very liberal-minded. He was a feminist. He was a prison reformer. And he did all of this really zealously. Like he dedicated his whole life to it. I guess there was something that said that he spent $10,000 of his own dollars in the first part of his life. So his family was living paycheck to paycheck pretty much. And he was giving all of his money to homeless people, to fugitive slaves, to children who were orphaned, stuff like that. He gets it because he was orphaned at a young age. Well, he wasn't orphaned, but his dad died at a young age. And he truly believed that something needed to change. And he poured everything into it. He was right. He was ahead of his time. He's one of those rare people that you get every once in a while. You're just like, oh, you were kind of born in the wrong era.
Yeah.
Maybe be born in the early 1900s and you would have soared. But instead you decided to believe in a machine Jesus. But whatever. So he, of course, was really into things until he hit his head really hard because a bunch of people beat him up. And after that, he started seeing visions and being told by a group of spirits to start healing people using magnetic healing and mesmerism, which was really popular at the time because it was a spiritualist movement, which was a movement in the United States where everybody suddenly had, decided they had access to the spirit realm and throughout mediumship and seances. And it was kind of this opening up of religion where everyone was like, we could all be prophets of some sort or our own, and women were really into it. And that was believed that it was actually weird because the spiritualist movement was actually really feminist and we needed it. It did really push people along in their acceptance of women's roles in society. And what I unfortunately failed to mention last week that I wish I had said, but after he hit his head, he started seeing these visions from Benjamin Franklin and a group he called the Electrizers.
You did mention that.
I did, but what I didn't mention was that he would go touring around the country giving speeches as these people.
Oh.
People loved it. They were like, this is interesting. This is fun. Oh, interesting.
Here's my impression of Ben Franklin telling me to create a mechanical Jesus.
They hadn't even said anything about the mechanical Jesus yet, but so he has been known by people as the guy who talks to Ben Franklin. So there's already, like, I looked through a bunch of old newspapers and they're like, this dude,
are his impressions good?
Well, I don't think they're impressions. I just think he goes into a trance and he's like, I'm Ben Franklin.
Right. But I'm saying, is he like doing the voice? Is he studying movement?
I hope. Right? Dude, I really wish. Put it past him. He goes all in. But he was like going around and like telling everyone we need to change society. Everything has to be taken down to the foundation and built up again. And let's get rid of slavery. And he started comparing women to being slaves because they were domestic slaves. And he was, people didn't like that. They're like, we draw the line at women. But he thought,
maybe there's a better word than slave, I think, in that case. Probably
I think in this case, it's like, maybe you shouldn't be comparing them to slaves because in some sense, more like an indentured, you have to survive with this man in order to... Anyway, he didn't mince words. He kind of just generalized a lot. And slowly, he loses all of his focus on these issues until one day he starts hearing from Ben Franklin and the rest that he needs to build a new mode of power, which is called the mechanical messiah or the electric infant. And it was Ben Franklin being like, just go get a bunch of metal. I think I talked about it last time and figure out, and I'm going to give you direction by direction how to build this thing. And it's going to save the world. It's going to become the second messiah.
Ben Franklin's just like an IKEA guide of pictures telling you how to build this thing.
He's, but no words, just pictures.
Yeah, no words.
It's true because that's how it was. So they all, at this point, he's like, we should build this. And his church has already kicked him out because they're like, you're going too far. You got to stop pretending to be Ben Franklin. And then other spiritualists were also like, whoa, buddy, we're crazy, but like, this is nuts. You're giving us a bad name. And so he had kind of outgrown it all anyway. And he was like, whatever, I'm going to build Jesus, whatever. You guys suck. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that he thought he was insane too. So
it's a hallmark of not being insane, by the way. If you think that if you know that you're insane, you're not insane.
I think he genuinely heard these voices. Or he thought he did, but he was freaked out for a while. He was like, I don't want to do this. All this stuff is so much. Like, why me? And he may have just been saying that, but there's like documentation. He's like, yeah, I'm probably crazy, but I gotta listen. And so we left off with him gathering all these materials to put together this machine, and zinc and copper and all this stuff. And they use like this like chamber, like this glass chamber for like the lungs, and they put a battery for the heart. And it kind of looks like a human, but not really. It's go look up a picture of it. It looks
like I said, it's like some demented thing from Return to Oz is how it feels.
Yes, with like a coffee grinder on it, press. Yeah. And so here's what we don't really know. So it took about 9 months to build this thing. And
before he birthed it.
Oh, we're about to get weird, okay? So they decided, because Ben Franklin was like, go to this hill and chill up at this hill. And I'll tell you why, is because this is where your hero, this guy named Andrew Jackson Davis, bad name.
Is it like Jefferson Davis and Andrew Jackson's child together?
Andrew Jackson, yeah, just their love child.
This person sounds like he sucks.
He doesn't suck. He just...
No, I'm saying just based on the name.
Oh, yeah. He sounds like a total Confederate, like jerk.
Yeah.
But he had also been doing this, like hearing all these voices and giving speeches as it. And he wrote this whole book about it. And John Murray Spear was like, this is the most important book on earth. And
you guys gotta team up.
Yeah, no, seriously. He's like, Ben Franklin was like, go to the place he was at. So they went to this hill and they start constructing this. And he brings in one of his other spiritualist friends named S.E. Hewitt, who was a mechanic and a preacher, another Universalist preacher.
Okay. And
he's like, bro, I need you because I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a shoemaker and also insane.
Yeah,
so I need
I'm just
somebody
a nuts and bolts
guy. Yeah. Come on, I need someone to like put, and S.E. Hewitt was
I'm the ideas guy. I need a guy who can actually execute.
no, for real. And he was like,
yeah, I'm a founder. I need to have vision. I don't need to actually know how to code. Yeah.
I need somebody to build this website for me.
Yeah.
So he brings this guy in and he's like, Ben Franklin, I'm going to go in a trance and Ben Franklin is going to dictate an image or directions. And so he would go into a trance and there would be somebody there dictating what he said.
Yeah.
Or he would just do automatic writing, which was just drawing kind of like in the trance, like pictures. And so he starts producing these like diagrams. And I wish we had these still.
Oh, no, you don't see you can't see them.
They're nowhere to be found. I know. It killed me. I was like, there's got to be something. But, paper doesn't really last that long if you don't take care of it.
Right.
But he started dictating these diagrams and these trances that Ben Franklin told him to draw. And over the next 9 months, they were like slowly putting this together and they all poured money into it. There was like a bunch of people. I want to say like a group, like 20 to 50 people who were all doing this. Yes.
Sequoia Capital was there.
Silicon Valley, except it's not silicon.
Peter
it's like
Thiel
copper.
is like hearing his pitch and he's like, Robot
like,
Jesus, I like it.
Ben Franklin is right. Yeah. And we need to really invest in Robo Jesus.
Series 1. Here's your first round of funding.
It's a unicorn, baby. So Ben Franklin's like, here we go, here it is. And they kind of put this thing together. It takes 9 months. And that's important because the 9 months means that's how long a gestation is for pregnancy.
Yeah.
And finally, they added the last piece. And it was like, there was a bunch of pieces. It was weird. A lot of it felt really like sexually, it was explained in a way that was kind of sexual, like the balls and like the shaft and stuff like that.
The shaft.
So they construct this. And I really wish there was more detail because I don't really know how they constructed it. There was direction, but it was very like, okay, and then cross these things and this beam and then put this here and then put the balls in this cup. And then like, then you got to have like a vagina of some sort. And I don't know what that is. It's like another little
right,
cup.
because it's intersex, right?
It's
Basically,
intersex,
it has both
so
genitals.
It's both genitals. And whatever the genitals were represented by like male and female metals. And they decided that because Ben Franklin was like, this is female metal and this is male, totally above board, normal science. Ben Franklin hadn't been dead for 100 years. No, less than that. When the last piece was added, they all like got around it in a circle and
jerked.
Well, that's the thing. Some people say, I'm not kidding. So we don't really know.
Oh, this is where the universal juice jizz comes in?
So I don't really know what this means. But he said he like went out. Like, what was he say? He said something about like he gave up virtue or like he released his virtue.
He's like, fellas, listen up. Ben Franklin told me the missing piece of this, right? Your wives aren't going to like this, but no. It's necessary. And we're going to form a pact today. Oh, women were there too. Okay, yeah, but good. So equal opportunities. Got some squirters going as well. Perfect.
Women were a huge part of like the channeling and the mediumship. And
he's like, there's nothing sexual.
Nothing. Look, this is just boys. Well, we're just going to have a mutual masturbation session.
What is the dick invitation? Nothing sexual.
Nothing sexual. Just two dudes hanging out.
Hanging out in our mansion. Hanging out with the Jesus automaton in our party automaton. Just need to get juices flowing. If you're heavy set, you need to be able to see the funnier parts of life or whatever the whole thing is.
Such a good episode. Oh, it's so good. Well, so it's pretty much Macadam. It's a party mansion.
This is with incredible that's how it was birthed at the end.
Oh, well, we don't know.
No, that's it. I'm deciding in my mind forever that that's what it is.
Believe, like the book I was reading by, of course I don't have his name, I'll link it. He doesn't really say anything. Ben Franklin told me all of this. You should see, this is the sex robot I have in my garage right now. I think I might need to change it a little bit because right now it's all shaft.
Yeah.
So what we can tell, here's the thing about humans. At the end of the day, we just want to have sex with things.
We're just jizz juice makers.
We're just like, and he also believed that the female orgasm was like the closest you could come to like spirituality, which
listen, first of all, that's progressive that he acknowledges that it existed when at a time that women were basically being put in insane asylums for having to be like, why are you acting this way?
Dude was not just rolling over after. He was
nice.
We
love a considerate king.
inconsiderate king, exactly. And here's the thing: his wife stuck with him for a long time, even though he was crazy.
He must have gone to town.
He must have been great.
Craziest people are always the best in bed. Everybody knows this.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
But not the best to, marry.
Not the best for relationships, but sexually. It would make... I'm not surprised at all that this guy is doing like backwards handstands and doing backflips or something and just being like... Ben Franklin's guiding him. He's like, higher, sir, not lower.
Keep going, sir. Don't give it. We're almost there.
No, not clockwise. Reverse clockwise. Then you do this other part.
Hands. Yes. Get the hands in there. No, it's all. Which is why, the fact that he was so into linking spirituality with orgasms and sexual intercourse tells me that there was probably some sort of sexual stuff happening at the quote unquote birth of this machine. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to say that there was because we don't really know. No,
I want to say that it is. Okay, you can be the fact here, and I will be like the actual interpretation, the translator, being like, they all got together and came.
Yep. And it's funny, I got into this because I was like, this sounds interesting. And of course,
Jizz Fest. That's literally Jizz Fest, by the way.
Jizz Fest 1852.
1852. This is where Jizz Fest began.
This is the original.
Incredible.
There was the original Ren Fair. This is the original Jizz Fest.
Original Jizz Fest.
People don't know this inside joke because we say it so much that it's been forgotten.
Did we not ever talk about this?
It's not even really did. At New York, we saw graffiti that just said Jizz Fest 2024 or something. And we can't stop talking about it. We just thought it was
the funniest thing about ever. And we took photos in front of it.
I'm going to go to Edge Fest. And I was like, wow.
No, I said I'm going to go to Jizz Fest and refuse to jizz. I'm just going to edge. And then that became Edge Fest because I had to be an iconoclast.
Well, none of these people are edging. So they're like, okay, let's get in a circle and hold hands and do whatever it is we do. And nothing happened.
What?
The machine held, did nothing. It just sat there.
The machine didn't turn on, but it's not that nothing happened. They did climax.
Your words, not mine.
There was a pool, up to the ankles.
We're knee deep in universal fluid. Why isn't this working?
Thankfully, they're wearing high waters like Millhouse.
Good. Okay, we got to move on. Okay. So after it doesn't work, Spear is like, oh no, what did I do wrong? So he immediately goes into a trance and he's like, Ben Franklin, help me. and Ben Franklin's like, oh, whoops, you didn't put enough magnets on yourself.
Oh,
and you also need to get better people in here because these guys aren't magnetically in tune with the universal fluid.
Yeah, he's that person's a Sagittarius, that person's a Pisces.
A Capricorn.
You need to put a bunch of
You have too many Geminis. They're backstabbing, too double-faced, whatever. You're Gemini, right?
I've been told. I don't subscribe to any of this.
Yeah, you are. So Franklin is like, get some more people, and he interprets this as women because he's like, well, women have way more spiritual power, and
it's immediately turning into a sex cult.
It always does.
It always does,
That's the thing, you guys. It always does. The second your cult becomes a sex cult, just get out. I know it sounds fun, but just go start a different, I don't know.
Unless it's a consensual sex cult and you're into the weird spiritual orgies, but don't let them control your life.
People were because he was also preaching free love at this time, which is another reason why.
And he's real good at going down on the ladies. I mean, it's kind of a slippery slope.
He must. So Franklin, so Ben Franklin tells him to find more people. He's like, okay, got to get some more magnets and I got to get some more ladies. And so he at this point,
there's another It's Always Sunny episode, right? Where Charlie's holding them. What am I?
What's your interest? And he's like, magnets. And they're like, magnets?
And he's like, do I hold this? And he's like, how do I sit here? Because he's getting audited or something.
The gang quashes their beef or whatever. And they're all holding the Dianetic machines. It's like, where do my feet? That's what it was. Where do my feet?
I was like, where do my feet go? Right.
Yeah. So Ben Franklin also says, you need to add more magnets. And so Spear is like, I know what I'll do. I'm going to make a suit of metal armor. And I'm going to cover it in magnets and jewels. So he has...
Do you have a picture of this?
No, I don't. We only have vague descriptions, but apparently he put on...
It's just his Iron Man, basically.
Metal, and it was the spirit armor. And in Sunday school, they always talk about the armor of God and putting on the armor of God. This is now what I think of when I hear that.
He's just must bring more jizz into my body.
into my machine, baby.
Yeah, machine baby.
So he
cannot allow the coming of Christ without more
the coming
squirt. I'm sorry, I've been extra foul the past couple of episodes.
I was gonna say we're like just talking about jizz a lot. So we're gonna make you reel it in.
It's a weird summer, man. I don't know.
It's a weird existence right now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. This sounds fun.
Yeah.
I want to build a metal
the jizz
robot.
juice Iron Man suit.
Just being
why covered in jewels? Are the jewels like magnetic or something?
No, the jewels channel. It's all about gems and crystals and channeling energy. That's kind of been this thing for a long time. So it's like I didn't find out why the jewels, but he's covered in this glittery magnet suit, and he's like, "This will do it." And Ben Franklin's also like, "Okay, but now you have to imagine. You have to psychically imagine an umbilical cord coming from this dude. This is insane. Just remember, this is Ben Franklin telling this guy this.
Right? No, of course, naturally. Yeah.
Naturally. He's like, there's going to be a spiritual umbilical cord coming from your magnet body to this machine. So he does. And they do whatever it is they do, and nothing happens. And everyone is really bummed. They're like, we got all the magnets. We got all these ladies in here.
How much jizz we produced for you just for this?
Ben, what is going on? And so he goes into a trance, and the spirits are like, oh, you need more women. You just need all women. And also, men don't give birth. Women give birth.
Oh, that's true. I never even thought of that.
Me neither, right? My whole life, I thought men could spiritually have an umbilical cord connected to a machine and give birth to the new Messiah. But news to me. So he's like, Ben Franklin's like, you got to find the new Mary, because with a new Messiah, you need to have a new Mother Mary. And so apparently a woman in Boston, who we don't have her name, some say it was his wife, some say it was somebody named Sarah. Yeah. But where's your wife right now?
What are the odds?
One of the most common names in history.
Yeah.
So we don't know who this woman is, but apparently suddenly this woman in Boston is like, oh, I got labor pains. And he sees a vision, or hears, does some medium.
Here's a vision, as you said earlier.
She hears a vision, and she's like, I have to go give birth to a mechanical Messiah.
Whoa.
And so somehow they make a connection, and she goes, because all leading up to it, this mechanical Messiah had been in the papers, because everyone's like, what are they doing up there? And I totally forgot.
Sorry, where are they in Boston when he's doing this? I forget.
They're in Lynn.
New
They're
York?
in Lynn, Massachusetts, which is outside of Boston.
Okay. Yeah, I know Lynn.
Up on this
I don't
hill
personally
called
know
High
Lynn,
Cliff.
but I know of Lynn. Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those, and I'm going to do the white person thing, but that's where my colonizer ancestors settled, so maybe they were involved in this. That'd be awesome. Oh, but
interesting.
Who knows? And also, I don't care. So everyone is. Oh, so this woman is like, I gotta go be the one. And sorry, I forgot. While they were building this, people were having these revelations and these visions the whole time. And one guy had a dream. One of the guys who was working on it had a dream that I want to see in a movie so bad. But that he had a dream that the mechanical Messiah would just get up on its legs. Like somehow have legs and just be giant and walk across the landscape of the U.S., smashing all the old institutions of churches and slavery, and then it would replicate, and littler ones would come out and spread around the world. And
this is an anime, basically, is what this is.
I know, yeah. This is reminder. This is 1852. Like that's like wild. A replicating robot. Like H.G. Wells. Like, it was just crazy. And so they didn't know what this thing was going to do. They just knew they needed to build it, and it would change the world. So this guy's like
replicating itself, and it's giant, which means that's a lot of squirt and semen just going all over the country as it stomps through. We're keeping this consistent. If you bring this thing when you bring this thing into Kumatab, it better be covered in semen and squirt. All right. Otherwise, I quit the podcast.
It will be. Okay.
Okay, I'm just making sure that it's... No, I'm saying when you world build, you have to make sure it's consistent. You can't just leave out details like that because it's uncomfortable. We're being historically accurate. This thing is stomping on the Fed and covering it in jizz and squirt afterwards in its wake.
Dude, like I said, I just want to be part of something, and I would love to be part of this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so back to the point. So she goes, the new Mary goes and shows up, and they're like, here she is, and John takes off his metal outfit. I don't even know. I don't know if we're still wearing
his metal undergarment, his metal G-string, banana hammock. I don't know.
Ouch.
Yeah, it sounds painful.
So she goes to High Rock and she's like, I'm unclear exactly what to do. And they're like, we'll figure it out. Come in. We're going to do something.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what happens. But very soon, she's laying on the floor having labor pains. For 2 hours, she's in simulated labor. And
was she pregnant going in? Did you say that, or she was not?
No, it was funny because people were like, she's not pregnant. She's like, I'm not pregnant. And I don't know if that's true because
might be spinning it.
It might be a little bit. Again, we don't know. I wish we knew more. I'm bummed. So, because again, John didn't care about being famous. He was just like, no, I just got to build this machine. And he didn't write anything down. And he just was like, whatever, means to an end.
He's living in the moment.
He's 100% living in the moment. And she lays in front of this machine, simulating labor for 2 hours, acting out childbirth. And everyone's there. Everyone's just like singing and dancing and like doing rituals. And after she, quote unquote, births the spirit baby into the machine, something happened. Apparently, 2 of these like little steel balls that were attached to the machine pulsated and moved. People freaked out. Everyone was like, there it is. It was just conceived. We just conceived the spirit. John was like, shh, it's okay. We gotta take care of it now. Cause like a regular baby, it's a baby. We have to like nourish it.
We have to cup it.
He's cupping this ball of the mechanical Messiah, and he's like, we have to care for this.
He's pushing his head. He's like petting the back of his head and cupping the balls. He's like, it's not time to stroke the shaft yet, okay? We're just giving it a second.
This is a baby at this point.
It's not a real baby. It's the balls you said. It's the mechanical balls. He's doing it to the machine.
I don't know if they're actually the balls. I just know there was a bunch of balls involved, steel balls involved. But like, no one wrote it down, so we can only guess. Okay, I just think there might have been some sex. Anyway, so people were overjoyed, and John was like, okay, before you go, like, talk about this, we got to make sure that everything's good. And that did not stop Mechanic and his friend, S.E. Hewitt, from publishing it in his journal called The New Era, which is like a...
Yeah, gotta tell the group chat.
He was like, he was overjoyed. He was like, this is happening and this is happening. And John was like, because at this point, the machine wasn't doing anything else.
Yeah.
That was it. And they're like, we have to wait for the baby to grow.
Its balls moved. That's it.
Its balls twitched.
It felt its balls twitch.
So because of The New Era, the magazine or the journal he had, a bunch of other spiritualists heard about it. And they were like, whoa, they actually did it. And so they're getting all this attention and ridicule, and like his idol, Andrew Jackson Davis, reads it. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go check this out because this sounds interesting. He gets up there and he's like, cool, guys. Like, this machine isn't doing anything. All he saw was the new Mary, like, taking care of it, quote unquote. And I still don't know what that means. Like, probably like polishing it. I don't know.
Maybe.
And he said upon seeing it that progress was being made, but that Spear and company were being irresponsible because who knows what spirit went in there. Why are you saying it's the Messiah? Could be anything.
Could have been the devil.
Could have been, and he's like, you guys are just willy-nilly just, birthing spirits that you're claiming are the Messiah. So he was like, I don't know about this, which I can imagine kind of crushed John, because he's like, my hero is here.
My hero is asking me to be cautious. I don't like that.
And I don't like that. And again, the machine wasn't moving. And this is like weeks and weeks go by and nothing else happens. And Andrew Jackson Davis went away as a skeptic and unsure. And another spiritualist came in, a Universalist minister who was also into spiritualism, Aidan Ballou, who was, I think, the son of that Hosea Ballou I talked about last time.
Okay.
He remarked that, Spear could have spent his time doing something else.
Ouch.
Yeah, because he's like,
what about the friends we made along the way? What about the buckets of
bummed.
jizz?
He's like, what about all that jizz? He was bummed because he was like, we need him in like the front lines of like abolition and stuff like that. But he's up here like.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, you're a really important abolitionist with a lot of money who is really working hard, and now you're just jizzing on this random robot with this stranger and cupping balls. I could see that.
Yeah, so he was bummed, and
yeah,
most people laughed.
Because he was a hero to somebody else. That's the thing. He didn't realize
That's the thing. He had a lot of people who really loved him, and he got very caught up, like many people did at the time, in spiritualism, which. The fact that it's such an open like interpretation of like, you can talk to anybody, like it goes off the rails pretty quick. Yeah. Because you can easily say, oh, I'm talking to,
Henry Kissinger.
Benjamin Franklin. And he's telling me to make a robo-Jesus.
A sex bot, yeah.
Let's just say what
a giant,
a sex
an
bot.
1800s fleshlight is what he's asked us to make.
But, well, through the power of female orgasm. That's the important part.
That's true.
So no one really knows what they were doing at this time. And the new Mary was still like, quote unquote, nursing it. And I also read that, that the universal fluid to either mean semen or it could just mean like this, like pulsing not electricity, but like energy that
this is what we talked about. It's the metacomlians.
Exactly, where it kind of pulses its way through every living thing, and it's the thing that holds the whole universe together.
String theory.
Shooting strings. And they're sick. Time went on, and the mechanical Messiah never moved again.
Oh, man.
I know. And
he nutted once, and then it was done.
He was
such a good orgasm for him, though.
It was so good. He's like, this must have solved the whole world.
I'm done. Yeah.
It's like, I'm spent. So the spirits then told John that he needed to move this thing somewhere else. Maybe it wasn't working here.
Oh, yeah. The vibes were off.
The vibes were off on this hill. So he moved it to a different place.
Mm-hmm.
But by this time, everyone had known about it. And a lot of spiritualists and like Christians were like, we don't want this in our city. And so they came in the night and they destroyed it.
What?
Yeah. That is what John says happened. So then John was told by Benjamin Franklin that people just aren't ready for this.
They're not. He's right.
They're not. He's like, we tried. You tried. People aren't receptive. They just want to destroy it. They're not ready. Yeah. Nobody was ready for this kind of thing. We still aren't.
Yeah.
It's
true.
So at this point, John, here's the crazy thing. John just moved on. John was like, okay, all right, everybody. Ben Franklin said no one's ready for this yet. So we should pour our, energies into something else, which don't worry, he's not done with machines yet because
okay, good.
After this, they had like him and that guy, Hewitt, had bought this this land. This is I don't know the timeline of this, but at one point in the years following, they bought land because they found a spring, like a water spring on the land. And they're like, this has healing properties. So we're going to buy this magic spring. And then they had to like contend with a rival magic spring, like a couple miles away. And they like opened all these like circle houses. Like everything was circular because it's like life or whatever. And like spiritualists was come by and like drink from the spring and like stay there. So they start practicing free love. And I got ahead of myself. And John knocks up some lady named Caroline, and his wife's like, that might be it for me. So
that's kind of yeah. That's all I asked.
And they have like grown children, and she's like, I'm out. Sorry, I did this for a long time. I'm just not into this non-monogamy thing. Which props to her that she was like, yeah. And at the time, being like a divorced woman, it was like not cool.
Well, yeah, it was not even a thing.
And it wasn't. And so he started hanging out with Caroline, who was his scribe whenever he had trances, and she got pregnant. And then he has this kid at like age 50 or 60 or something. Mm-hmm. And they start running this like weird spiritualist resort where you could drink magic water. And he started preaching all this stuff that's like women have the right to refuse sex at any time. And they have the right to marry who they wish. And they have the right to divorce who they wish. And his belief was like rooted in that. And people hated that dude. Pissed everybody off. Scathing articles were written about his like free love thing. Like, can you believe this guy? And it's like, we could tolerate robot Jesus, but we draw the line at women having bodily autonomy, which, if that doesn't perfectly sum up our modern day country, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
We'd put all of our money into robot Jesus, take rights away from women.
Listen, how am I going to make money off a woman if she has her own autonomy? I can't do it. Robot Jesus, that's a cash cow. I can make money off of that. Yep. That's basically how it's all summed up.
Yeah, 100%. And then we've been this way the whole time. So his John and his girlfriend, Carolyn, raised their child together. And they decided to go check out spirit. Oh, sorry. I got ahead of myself again. Sorry. Okay. So they're at this weird camp, I guess. It's like crazy person camp. And they start deciding, he starts getting messages from the electrizers again. And they're like,
right,
bro, we're going to emancipate women from the slavery of being domestic servants to their husbands.
This is what year now, roughly?
This is late 1850s. So this is actually...
Slavery is still a thing, by the way, at
very
this
much
point.
So.
He's just like he's moved on from slavery. He's no longer an abolitionist, and now he's more concerned with like the ladies. Okay.
He is very much still an abolitionist, but no one really wants to have him around because he went nuts. Like, so
I see.
The abolitionists are like, you're making us look kind of bad. So he felt kind of boxed out of it, and he was still an abolitionist, still prison reformer, still would do all these acts of service, but people were he's kind of like a pariah. They're like, that dude.
Yeah, you're like, we don't really want him around.
No, like he make us look really bad. But
okay.
So Benjamin Franklin's like, I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna like free women from their domestic duties by making the best sewing machine the world has ever seen. And we're not just gonna build it regular. We're going to bring all the rituals into it again.
Yeah.
And each
covered in jizz.
They're like, this sewing machine is going to free women up to do whatever they want, which...
That's all you need.
So they like start building this sewing machine. They're like, we're going to imbue it with powers to like free the women. And they just end up building... Oh, they want to build it cheap so anyone can buy it because that's what they believe.
Of course.
And they build it, and it's not the best sewing machine, but it's cheap. And so...
Yeah.
Some people buy it, and they use.
So they managed to actually produce like a few of them.
They produced a few, but not many. Like there's no surviving sewing machines, magic sewing machines. And when that kind of petered out, they're like, let's go to England. They're also into spiritualism. Let's just see what they're up to. Yeah, it's true.
It's a whole new batch of suckers who have not seen how full of shit I am.
Oh, they immediately saw. Yeah. England has always been a little more. They're like, they've been through so many like religious upheavals that they're like, yeah, okay, sure.
They're like, there's
Jesus,
no Marmite
great.
in this sewing machine. No thanks.
We call universal fluid Marmite.
Marmite, yeah. Have you tried slathering it in Marmite and then pouring some hot tea over it? Maybe that's what was the problem.
Or gravy.
Yeah,
fill
gravy.
All the cracks with gravy.
Beans? Did you cover it in beans? That's the thing.
I love beans. I love beans on toast. I love it. I truly do. I can't deny it. Okay.
That hurts.
You gotta just dump a bunch.
I have
of
to accept you for who you are. I understand. I know. I have to accept that you're my friend who loves beans and toast and blank bread.
Have you had it?
I'm still reeling from the fact that the times where I wasn't on, half the time you talked about plain bread, and I was like, I wanted to put a bullet in my brain.
We talked about plain bread one time. Me and Alyssa.
That's all it takes.
We quickly realized we're like, oh, this is the whitest thing we've ever said.
Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, what do I really bring to this podcast? And I'm like, I keep you people in check. That's all I do.
You bring an completely different worldview. If it weren't for you, I'd be like, let's talk about King Edward IV. Everyone would be like, bullet in
beans
head.
on toast and white bread. No, it would be a more successful podcast. That's what would have happened.
I would rather have this than success talking about England.
That means a lot to me. Appreciate that.
I mean that. Okay. Beans on toast aside, they go to England, and England's like, bro, do some tricks. Because they show up and they're like, this is, ooh, and they're like, we want tricks, we want magic. And they're like, we don't do that. So they didn't do well in England. So he and Caroline go back to the US and they go to San Francisco.
They don't even go to the rest of Europe?
No. What? What do you mean?
Go to France? I feel like the French would be into this. The French would they would get it.
If you sold it as sex, they'd be like, we're in.
That's what I'm saying. If you sort of say, like, it's this weird sex machine that you come all over, they'd be like, interesting.
Be like, oh, oui.
Yeah.
No, like
the
that
Germans
too.
would like the weird BDSM part of it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. At this point, I don't know. Germany
is covered in leather.
A state of unrest and starvation.
Yeah,
I don't think bringing the Jesus machine to Germany in the 1870s would do anything. Charles Tilshasi said, he's like, I know what I'm going to do.
Like, it can fly.
Well, what if it could fly? So they found their way back to the U.S. and ended up in San Francisco, where all crazy people end up.
Of course, that's where we're all from, the Bay Area.
He kind of like recedes. Like he's like not in the limelight anymore. And at some point, Ben Franklin's like, you got to retire. We're gonna leave you now. And he's like, dope. And so he just stops. He just stops. And he's still a medium, so he still goes and helps people like contact their dead relatives, and he shows up in a bunch of papers in the 1870s in San Francisco of like just like as a byline, like so and so did this, and her friend John Murray Spear helped with this, and kind of here and there, and he lived like that until he died.
Oh.
He moved back to Philadelphia toward the end of his life, and in 1887 he died peacefully with Caroline at his side. I was expecting, because usually with this, it's like, oh, and then they started a sex cult and they all died in the jungle,
Yeah.
Or But this is fascinating to me because like the cycles of belief through history are fascinating because this just happens over and over and over and over again with varying results. New technology emerges. We assign God to it, and we don't understand it, so we think it's magic, or we treat it like it's like holy, and then it gets away from us. And
and the people who control it or seem to control it are like the priests that everyone essentially has to bow down to because they're the ones that are connected to God.
100%.
At a cost.
At a cost, unless you're John, in which case he did all of this for free.
Or not say at a cost, for a cost, I should say. For a price.
Some sort of price. And I just, the whole time, I was like, this is AI.
Yep.
This is AI. This is our new mode of power, our new messiah. People are looking at AI like it's going to save the world. And it might. Probably not.
I'm going to go on the record and say it's not going to.
It's not going to, because it's another, when we have something new like this, we don't know what to do with it. And so we have these big, crazy ideas. But seeing this happen over and over with all these different technologies, and especially during this time when this was electricity. Imagine having no electricity and then having electricity. Yeah, that's insane.
Like,
like 30,000 years of darkness, pretty much. Besides candles and oil lamps. And then suddenly you can harness a power that you can't even see. Yeah, you're going to be like, cool, I'm going to talk to dead people. Of course.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm watching this with AI too. Not necessarily dead people, but like people giving it everything they have. And I don't know. It just hit me like, oh, we're doing it again. So.
It's very true. I
this
agree.
AI is not Jesus, everybody. It's not going to save us. So.
They're not going to save us. These AI hucksters are not going to save us. They are just trying to get as much money as possible. There's not enough compute in the world to save the human race.
No, we can though, because the way we can save the human race is doing what John Murray Spears did the rest of the time he was alive, which is fight for people who need fighting for.
Yeah.
Be like John, except for his midlife crisis where he built like Robo Jesus. But like other than that, serve the world like John did.
Serve the world, especially remember to give your partner an orgasm. Do not leave them hanging. It seems like John was really into that.
John cared.
Yeah. This is the anti-manosphere podcast where I'm like, listen, you need to take care of your ladies, you guys. Yes. All right? None of this bullshit.
Do you know how roll easy over. It is?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but.
It's not easy, but like with enough communication.
Take pride in your work.
Put some effort into it.
Yes.
It's literally all people want.
That's all they want. John understood that. That's why we're talking about him 150 years later.
150 years later for being a great lover and also insane. I'd take a crazy person over.
Often go hand in hand, like I said.
Yep. Anyway.
But you're right. Yes. Taking the reason that he was able to get to these heights of getting all this crazy money and like weird jizz suit with like, Thanos jewels all over it is because he was on the right side of history for so long until he unfortunately hit his head. That sucks. But it goes to say that these people really did trust him. And they were like, we love John. And till the end, he was like never lying. I mean, as far as we know, I think he was misguided by his head injury, but I think he meant well. It reminds me of the inverse of what's his name? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Jim, cool, like everyone dying in South America, in Ghana.
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, thank you. Not Ghana. Ghana? Where is it?
It's Guyana.
Guyana, sorry. Where like he had this whole, like the reason that he ends up getting this whole call is because he was such a crazy kind of spiritual progressive for the time, especially like stood
fight for like. He was like fully in the
civil rights movement, right?
Civil rights movement.
Right?
Yeah. He had like that's why most of his followers were black. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. That's I was like, it kind of reminds me of that in a way where it's like he had this goodwill because of all this like
he had it, and then
and then he just totally lost it and went the other way.
Here's the point. Here's the thing. You're not. He decided he was some sort of Jesus, and John decided that this machine he built was some sort of Jesus. And then when it didn't work, he accepted defeat.
Yeah, that's a good lesson to learn.
I think it is. I think no matter what heights you go to, accept it with grace, defeat, and just remember the people who need you. If you have resources, if you had time, go help people, especially now.
Yeah.
And that's my tab on John Mary Spear and his Mechanical Messiah.
Beautiful. I loved it. Yep. Thank you so much for that story. I really enjoyed it. Well, hello there, friends. If you're listening to this show, chances are high that you have a lot of open tabs. And whether it's pigeons, orangutans, or exploding whales, you're also probably somebody who cares deeply about animals. Which is why Hannah, Alyssa, and I couldn't believe today's sponsor, Tab for a Cause, actually exists, because they seem tailor-made for us and our tens of listeners. Tab for a Cause is a browser extension that displays a few ads in the corner of every new tab you open. And the revenue from those open tabs generates funds for their various charity partners. Charities like the Humane League, which doesn't just raise awareness, but also drives real institutional change for animals. Since 2007, their relentless advocacy has helped lift the percentage of cage-free hens in the US from just 3% to over 45%. We here at 500 Open Tabs love animals, and as Hannah always points out, my stories are very often about animals where they shouldn't be. So, this very much warms my heart. As of July 2025, Tab for a Cause has raised over $1.9 million for charity. And your 500 Open Tabs could be making a huge difference for our fur-tabulous friends the minute you sign up. And the best part? It doesn't even cost anything. That's right, it's free 99. Just go to tabforanimals.org/opentabs to add the extension. And help spread the word by telling everyone you know. Probably not your animal friends, though, since they are unlikely to have access to the internet or understand proper any language, really. Again, go to tabforanimals.org/opentabs to add the extension and start saving the lives of our fur-tabulous friends today.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? This country's nuts.
Crazy. This country is nuts, and it continues to be.
What do you have for me today? Oh, actually, why am I asking? I know what you have. We're about to watch a third video, right?
Okay, so moving on to my tab. This is so stupid, but here we are. Part 3 of my November Rain Trilogy tabs.
I love that this is your first 3-parter. I love it.
Has it all been worth it? Absolutely not.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Am I clearly mentally ill? Yes.
Yeah. Well, who isn't? People who aren't clearly mentally ill, I'm like, what's happening with you?
What's wrong with you? I don't know. I don't care about anything anymore, and I cannot believe that this is the tab that I spent the most time on. But there's so many more important things I could have talked about. But like I keep saying, this is no longer about the show. This is about me needing to purge a story that's been playing on loop in my brain for 30 plus years, and it needs just to be excised from my body. I hate it, and I've been held hostage.
This is what this show is about.
Yeah.
It's about learning to let go of open tabs.
Exactly. Yeah. It's being held hostage, and the cosmic attempts to save me have been as lucky as Jimmy Carter's. But at last, Reagan is hours away from being sworn in, and I can finally be released from this prison of my own making.
Blessed day.
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to the last 2 episodes,
own it, dude. Just lean in.
You should go back and listen to them for Hannah's tabs, not mine. But if you do want context...
I knew nothing about this at all. I've learned a ton.
I do know that you didn't know. But if you want context, last episode I got into the production of Guns N' Roses' music video for November Rain, how it took inspiration from Del James's short story titled Without You, which was inspired by Axl's previous relationship with then girlfriend, future ex-wife Erin Everly, but then started to influence his then current relationship with supermodel Stephanie Seymour.
Yes.
And I got into all the symbolism and whatnot, and I broke down the story of Without You, and that it revealed that in the short, Axl, or Main Man, as he's known in the short story, love bombed and smothered Elizabeth, the woman that he loved, into marrying him, and he's ecstatic and dressed like Jareth the Goblin King, and she's not, and she decides to unalive herself, leaving Maine alone and sad and feeling responsible, while meanwhile in the real world, his relationship with Seymour falls apart rather dramatically, leaving them without the female lead for the 3rd part of the music video trilogy Estranged, which is what I will be discussing today.
Oh, okay. That was really concise. Thank you.
Thank you. So if you remember way back when I first started this series in the previous century, Estranged...
Back in 1878.
Back when John was making the mechanical Jesus and jizzing all over it. Estranged was a song that Axl had in mind before Guns N' Roses even released their first album, Appetite for Destruction. And he had written it after reading Del's short as his inspiration of Without You, which in the story is the song that Maine wrote about his breakup with Stephanie, Aaron, Elizabeth, throw me in the wood chipper, please, to the FBI agent assigned to spy on me, just end me, just do us all a favor. It's better that way.
He's asking you politely. He won't fight. at this point. He won't fight. Just before you take him to some black site
just
where no one knows
it.
where he is, just put him in a wood chipper. Easy.
Just put me in the wood chipper. Just let it be done. So stupid. Without You, the song in the story pushes Elizabeth off the edge, causing her to get, Epsteined. And then Maine comes in and finds her. And as the kids would say, he is wrecked. And now, in the spirit of the music videos and short story, I'm going to change up the order a little. And last time I left you with the cliffhanger, what was Maine's fate after Elizabeth went to live on a farm upstate? I will conclude the magnum opus.
Unhinged. Unhinged. But I think this is what everyone's here for, so.
Yeah, this is just,
like
I said, going insane. I'm not going to hinge it. So, if you remember when I left off, Maine had ended his Edgefest.
Yeah.
And he was in front of the mechanical Jesus. Yes.
Oh, that's...
He was donating his universal fluid, right? That's what it was called?
Universal
He was
fluid.
donating his universal fluid to the photo album that he was looking at.
Perfect.
And he sort of comes to, and he gets post-nut clarity, and he starts dancing with Mr. Brownstone, who had been knocking and wouldn't leave him alone. Because remember, he used to do a little, wouldn't do it, but the little got more and more. He just kept trying to get a little better, just a little better than before. That's a lyric.
Okay. I figured.
Heroin.
I'm just going with it. I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm with you, okay? We're soaring through this tab, and I'm here.
This one's going to be a ride.
Questions. I'm not
this one's
questions.
a ride.
I'm here for it.
So he dances with Mr.
Gape cake. Okay, I'm here to talk.
Cake.
I'm here to talk about mechanical Jesus and gape cake, and I just finished talking about mechanical Jesus. We're disgusting. Are we 14?
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, go.
He dances with Mr. Brownstone, then he's high, and all the while he starts remembering about his unalived boo. By the way, I'm not sure if I was clear about this. This is the rest of the short story.
Oh, you were not.
That's what I'm explaining. I think I just ran through this very quickly.
You did.
But just to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
It is. Okay, so this is what happens in the rest of the short story without you.
Okay.
So he comes to, post-nut clarity, dances with Mr. Brownstone. Then he starts remembering Elizabeth being dead again. And he's like, why did she have to die? Why, Lord, why? Why me? He has nowhere else to direct all of his big feelings because he's having a lot of them. And then he starts to punch the shit out of his condo. He just starts breaking things. Walls, lamps, platinum records. It's a classic rock star shit. He just starts destroying everything.
Which is easy to do in America because our walls are made of cardboard, pretty much.
It's true. And then he started to get really crazy. Quote, no matter how many hotel rooms he trashed during his career, Maine had never harmed a guitar.
Oh, no. An innocent guitar is about to die?
That was strictly taboo until today. He walked over to the row of guitars, grabbed a 68 Stratocaster by its stringed neck and swung, smashing the mahogany body until it was little more than firewood. End quote.
That is mediocre writing. Let's use, I don't know, man.
No, this is tragic, Hannah.
Sorry.
Sad.
I'm crying.
It's sad.
I'm crying. You just can't tell.
Now he's feeling something and he's smiling and he starts breaking even more shit. And then he turns on the radio because we all need a soundtrack to our self-destruction.
Well, yeah.
And he's blasting it. And coincidentally, it's a bunch of artists that reminded him of why he wanted to become a musician in the first place.
Of course.
Humble Pie and the Allman Brothers. And he's having the best time and he's breaking things. And he goes to grab another
Cashew
beer.
Brothers better.
I'm being a Middle Easterner. I love the Pistachio Brothers myself.
Of course.
But yes, Cashew's great too. A little bit fatty
Pistachio
for me,
Brothers formed you as a person.
It's true. I love Pistachio Brothers in my coffee.
The Pine Nut Brothers, not good.
Not great. It goes, some people like to put it on, I don't know, pasta. I don't care. Whatever.
I don't care. No, me neither. I can't do this much longer. This riff. So
neither can I. I'm trying to get this tab done. So he's having a great time. He grabs another beer. And then while the music's playing, it cuts to commercial because, he didn't pay for Spotify Premium. And then it's an ad for whatever, Sky Reezy. And then it's time for an ad for a record store.
Okay.
You can make your very own website. Squarespace, please pay us money. I would take money. Please give us money.
I'll say whatever you want.
I don't care. And then it's this record store. And in the background of the ad, they start playing Without You, of course.
Oh, of course.
And then Maine is super triggered again. So he grabs the stereo receiver and he throws it over the balcony onto his fancy ass black Bentley. That's 10 stories below.
Great.
And then he's mad at the guitars again.
If we had never found electricity, this never would have happened. This
is actually the kind of this is the antithesis of yours, where yours was he's taking a bunch of electric stuff and trying to put it together. This is his unraveling, where he's trying to destroy every single electric thing that's in his home. It's poetic. And he's mad at the guitars and he's throwing beer cans at them. And then for some reason it veers into like this leftist anti-capitalist message against the record company overlords not caring about art and exploiting like the worker class. Wow, and then he remembers he's mad at the guitars again. And then he really goes after them and he destroys this like really another telly and then one of his many, many Les Pauls. And then his neighbor starts like banging. He's like knocking on the wall, being like, keep it down, you asshole. But then Maine's activated. And then he records a terrible Bob Dylan cover that completely misses the point of the song. You won't get that reference, but Guns N' Roses fans will. And then the neighbor keeps banging. So Maine he goes skiing again. Wink, wink. And then he goes into his wall safe and he grabs a Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum and he starts shooting the wall.
Oh, of his safe?
No, at the neighbor where the neighbor's banging, he just goes like bang, 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 bang.
Buddy.
And the banging stops, but Maine, he's just getting started. And he starts shooting a bunch of other stuff, and then he puts it to his temple, and he's about to end it all, but then he sees, what does he see? More Les Paul guitars. And then he gets offended. Yeah.
It's like, I didn't get them all.
This is like a guitar aside or something. I don't know. It's like, he's just here to kill as many guitars as possible.
Guitars.
Yeah.
What did they ever do to you?
Nothing. All they did was bring him joy. So he shoots the guitar instead, and then he throws the remains over the balcony like a dead body. And by this point, a bunch of people on the street had gathered around to be like, what the shit is going on? And then he's like, you like that? Here you go. So then he goes into his safe and he grabs all this cash and he just makes it rain. He just throws it all down to the people on the street below.
This is the folly of fame. It turns you into a monster.
And then what does he see? Take a wild guess what he sees.
The dead guy he just killed through the wall?
I don't think it's implied that he kills the neighbor. I think he's just randomly shooting, being
Does
like,
he
shut
see
up.
Another
and then the guy's
guitar?
like, yeah, he sees another Les Paul. But this one, this was his most prized possession. There's so many Les Pauls that are destroyed in this story. But this one's a 1957 and it's in Sunburst. It's a beautiful guitar.
Wow.
He tries playing it. He sits down, but it's hard because his hands are all mashed up because he just punched a bunch of stuff and like shooting and doing all this stuff. But he tries to get out a song. And it reminds him of a simpler time before he was main man and just, you ready for this? Stephen Maynard Mandrake.
What? Steve Mandrake? Was his name?
Stephen Maynard Mandrake. Changed his name to Main Man.
I would have kept it as Steve Mandrake. That's an awesome name.
Or Maynard
Way
Mandrake.
Better than Main Man.
Or Nard instead of Maine. I don't know.
Right. Nard Mandrake.
Nard Mandrake. Lord Nard Mandrake.
Please welcome Lord.
Of the Marmites. I don't know.
Of the Mandrakes. Okay, so Steve Mandrake plays his guitar.
He plays his guitar. Meanwhile, in the other room, a lit cigarette that he just tossed on the bed starts to do its thing. Ugh. But he's too high and too emotional to notice. And he starts thinking about Elizabeth even more. And he wants to sing to her. And finally, he works up the courage to do it. So he goes over to his piano and he sings Without You as everything starts to burn around him. And then
he dies.
He's gone. He's died. That's it. The end.
He dies in a fire he started?
He dies in a fire he started in a drunken and heroin and cocaine-induced stupor while he's playing the song Without You and singing to his dead love of his life, whatever, and that's it.
Narcissism. Wait, that's how it ends?
Else's fault, okay, Hannah? How dare you?
How could this have happened?
Yeah, no. So that's it. That's what that happened. That's how the story ends.
So his best friend says, "Here's the story I wrote for you," and in the end, you die after shooting a gun at the wall over and over, punching it till your fists bleed, and then playing your guitar and crying. Cool. And Axl Rose
and the piano.
Like,
don't forget, he ends on the piano.
Piano.
And Axl's like, "This is incredible.
You know me. You know me.
It's like you peered inside of my brain." So now it's time to film Estranged.
Oh my
So what the hell are they going to do?
Right.
Guess what time it is, everybody?
Time for me to watch it?
Time for another Patreon exclusive.
Oh, yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Watching me react to it.
We're going to have you watch this together.
Oh, no, never mind. Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and watch this. If you are a subscriber to Patreon, this will be on there. But if not, we're just going to watch it real quick and then come back to it.
and we'll kind of give a rundown.
Yep. All right. So now we're back from our watch. Lots of questions, I'm sure. But I'm going to do a quick, we're going to do a quick recap. All right.
Okay.
We're going to do a quick recap and then we'll get into it. So I'll say this up top. Okay.
Okay.
I love this video and I don't care, but it is a goddamn mess. It is a train wreck of a music video.
It's a train. No, there's no sense to it whatsoever.
Nope.
You think you're going to get it and you're like, oh, they're never going to show that part again?
Nope.
Why was he at his house in the beginning and they never went back to it? Was he dead? Was he dying?
I don't know. Okay.
Why'd the cops come?
Let's recap. So it begins with, as you pointed out, in the Patreon exclusive, what looks like a SWAT team storming Maine's mansion with guns out for some reason, along with police helicopters and an EMT. Because, when you storm somebody's house with guns, you bring the EMTs with you at the same time because that's standard protocol.
No one's out of a job, all right?
No
one's out of a job except for maybe Main Man. But
listen, if you're a SWAT police officer with guns breaking in, don't bring the EMT officer in because that means they might get shot. Yeah. Also, they're just doing this. They're like holding up the guns.
First. Just go in and check it out.
None of this makes sense, but it does look cool and dramatic. And then there's like a helicopter flying over. Yeah. It's very like more things. And then he's like you said, he's asleep on like a giant shelf for some reason. And then they kind of can't find him. No one knows.
And he starts remembering like childhood and like being a kid, or he starts thinking of his kid. I couldn't tell if it was his kid or he was like being a kid. I took it as it's his younger
I'll explain who that is. Yes.
Oh.
I'll explain what all that is. But so then it's concert footage and there's like a stadium show and then he goes backstage and then he kind of passes out and then I guess he like disassociates from himself and then his ghost body takes a shower wearing all of his clothes, which as you pointed out is the Charles Manson t-shirt and the Guns N' Roses branded shorts.
He's wearing his own merch. And a Charles Manson t-shirt.
Then there's more concert. Then it goes back to the mansion where everyone in the band's entourage is leaving, but they're all dressed in white. And then there's like this all white limo waiting for Maine, who's also has like a bike cop escort.
Is that like death or like ego
Again,
death?
I'm going to do the recap.
Okay,
Let's do the recap and then we'll get into all of it.
I don't know why I'm trying
then there's a dolphin emblem on the limo, which is the white stretch limo. So it's all white.
Yeah.
Then it's the band back on tour, and then they're in this gigantic hangar with, by the way, I looked this up. It's an Antonov AN-124 Ruslan aircraft, which is gigantic.
Huge.
It is a gigantic airplane. And then it opens its trunk to reveal that it's filled with water and like a dolphin that defies the laws of physics and is just swimming in it.
Swims out. And the band is like, yeah, makes sense.
This is the kind of thing where like in the movie, like in a Mission Impossible movie where they're like, oh, we have a giant plane that we need to like dump this other plane out of like in its caboose. Like that's how big this plane is.
Like it shouldn't exist. That's the thing. It's like we did this. We made this plane that can be this big and carry another plane and then also fly. Anyway.
Yo, dog, I heard you like planes, so we put a plane inside your plane so you can plane while you plane. And then it's Maine walking the Sunset Strip, but the street is filled with water in which dolphins are also swimming. Then the dolphins swim out of a billboard. A Slash plays a floating solo. Then it cuts to a straight up oil tanker.
Yeah.
Where, as you know, most rock bands spend their time because that's very normal. So far.
Here's the thing. He couldn't stand that oil tanker because he jumped right off of it.
Immediately. He jumps off the side, which is a pretty crazy stunt. And then.
Yeah.
Gilby Clarke throws down a life preserver, but Maine throws it away. Duff tries to come in on a rowboat to save him, but the waves are too big and Maine's also not interested. And then it looks like it's all over. He's like, whatever, screw this. But then who shows up, Hannah?
Dolphins.
Dolphins show up.
They're there for him when no one else was. Actually, when everyone else was. He decided to only listen to the dolphins. So that's the reality we're in this video. Everyone tried to help him. Begged him. No, I'm gonna die.
No dolphins. And then he swims with the dolphins and it's like kind of peaceful. And then in my opinion,
an intervention, but the whole circle of the intervention is just dolphins.
Just dolphins.
Like, look, man, we care about you. And in the subtitles, it's like, we love you. We want you to get better.
And he's like, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, that's good. You're much better at dolphins than
I've always been good at dolphin noises. I don't know.
You should have been doing that this entire time. I can't believe we just recorded a whole 10-minute you reacting to this video and you didn't do a single dolphin noise. Anyway, maybe we can add it in post.
Time.
He swims with Maine and he's excited and then he's like feeling peace. And then the worst guitar solo ever on film happens, which I love. Slash emerges.
I think I screamed, if I remember
You did
correctly.
Scream. It's incredible.
I was like,
I love it.
Because he just came out of the water like magic and just stood on it like Jesus.
It's so stupid that it crosses over into amazing. That's why I love it.
Exactly. And it does it so quickly.
Yeah.
It's so quick to be like, what the? Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know. And then Matt Sorum shows up, who's the drummer, in a Coast Guard helicopter, and they find him. And I don't understand. Like, it looks like they save him, but I don't know. And then the last shot is Axel's custom Converse high top falling to the bottom of the ocean, which I guess means it wasn't It was, in fact, Axel. It wasn't Maine. I don't know. Like, it's getting a little bit sloppy there. Doesn't matter.
It's like at the end, it's Axel because it's all been about him.
The end, whatever. That's the quick summary of the video. So the first question that we all have is, what the shit is with all the dolphins?
Why? What? I know it was like 1997, and
no, not even.
When was
this? Way earlier. This is earlier than that. I think this is like, I forgot to look up the year. I want to say it's 93 or 92.
Either way, the 90s is like dolphin central because every like little girl's planner, every like sketchbook, every poster had dolphins.
Lisa
Frank dolphins. There was all those like fuzzy, create your own artworks of dolphins, like the fuzzy paintings or whatever.
I'm just imagining Axl Rose with his Lisa Frank notebook. Well, it's covered with dolphins, writing the lyrics to Estranged in it with like hearts on top of his eyes. And he's got like a pencil with one of those pom-pom, what do they call it at the end of him that are bright? Yeah. It's all holographic.
The pom-pom. And then he's
on the bed, like going like this with like kicking his feet in the back, and then he's writing about it.
Go away, Mom, when she tries to give him like a sandwich. Dolphins were like the thing. They're like the mystical, like
interesting animal at the time. I wonder why.
Then we all found out that they would just sexually assault people who wanted to train them. People.
At the time, though, no one said shit about what it was, and they tried to keep it a creative mystery. Because to be fair, I don't question symbolism when I make things. You just kind of trust your subconscious. If it's telling you something and it feels right, you just have to kind of go with it.
Yeah, it
and then you can place meaning on it later.
Buy Cat People. It's on sale right now.
Exactly.
Speaking of not knowing what symbolism comes out until it comes out.
Yep.
Buy my book. Okay, plug over.
But years later, director Andy Morahan said to Kerrang, quote, Axl had split up with Stephanie Seymour, and he was like, I don't want any more beautiful girls in my videos. I'd rather have a dolphin. We knew that we were deliberately doing that so people would go, what's all that about? There was a sense that it was throwing up a lot more questions than answers, and that suited everybody. It created a myth and intrigue around the whole trilogy.
No, it just made him look like a dork. A dolphin dork. Look, they missed the mark. A dolphin boy. Yeah. I watched it and I was like, okay, someone loves dolphins. Someone's trying to kill themselves by drowning, and they also love dolphins. I didn't even think about women. They want to be
one with them. Yeah. It's like his familiar.
Ladies.
It's like his...
It's his familiar, a witch and his familiar.
More clarification from Axl himself. Quote, the dolphins were to assimilate a state of peace or a state of grace. It was not originally intended, but in the next scene, I will be drowned and go to heaven, and I really didn't want to shoot a heaven scene.
Okay, it's great. He didn't want to shoot a heaven scene. He's like, we'll just bring in the dolphins.
He's bringing a dolphin. I don't care. I don't have to deal with any more like hot models that I might fall in love with. I'm just going to swim with dolphins, and that's cool. And everyone's like, sure, whatever. So real quick before I move on with the rest of this, because you kept asking the question of the kid, which your symbolism is interesting the way you interpreted it. But that was apparently Stephanie Seymour's son. So she had a son from a previous relationship. And I think Dylan was his name. And Axl and Dylan apparently had they were supposedly very tight. Like they got along very well. And when when him and Stephanie had broken up, Axl was like, I need to talk to Dylan and I don't know how to communicate with him. And so he like included these clips of him in the video as a way to try and communicate with him, quote unquote, allegedly, to be like, so he understood. And I'm like, meanwhile, I don't think the kid understands anything or he like cares who Axl Rose is. But
I mean,
anyway.
Maybe it was like a future kid. Like you can watch this and know that I cared about you and that.
Yeah, maybe.
I really wish we could still be father and son or whatever.
Yeah. Something like that. But there's some like weird, like super personal thing that ended up sort of permeating into this.
Interesting. I thought it was just his like younger self that he was taking care of, which.
I mean, I definitely think that there's some level of that bleeds into it where it's like he's sort of faced with something with like a child that he probably didn't really have any time to, or he had not spent any time with any children.
Right.
That's probably the first one as an adult where he's like, oh, people were once children and like I need to think of people as like people.
I've learned empathy learned. +1 empathy.
Exactly. So it's important to note that Guns N' Roses is on the back end of their success at this point, and the band is very close to imploding from Axl's maniacal need for control. And there's a BTS video for this one too, and basically they interview all the other band members and they're just like shrug emoji, shit I don't know.
Didn't work.
I don't know what the hell any of this is. We're just Axel. They just told me to show up here. And Gilby Clark's like, yeah, they just told me to throw this one life preserver off the edge of this. And that's my inclusion in the video. I don't know. And Axel keeps talking about like wanting to shoot, like about dying and going to heaven. And he's like, oh, I want to do dolphins instead, much like you said. So I'm inclined to think this video is keeping in line with the themes and style of the other videos, specifically Don't Cry. Because technically, right, because it's, okay, first of all, it doesn't make sense, right? As you said, a lot of it doesn't make sense. The other two videos made more sense, even in the way that they didn't make sense, because it provided more questions, but the symbolism at least kind of told some sort of a story.
And there was a beginning, middle, and end, vaguely, of like, you know, story. This one was, I mean, I guess there was some of that with this, but this was just like free for all.
It was free for all. There is a beginning, a middle, and end to it, kind of, but also... if you're taking the form of how the other ones functioned in terms of the visual language, it is here as well. I think it's just not, the ideas are not developed. And in part, that's because they lost their lead. Everyone's like totally over it and they don't want to do it. And then there's,
checked out.
I think, and it's like apparently almost like, I think somewhere I read was like, it's at least like $4 million was the cost of this music video. And people were like,
my goodness,
why is there this plane that holds planes inside of it? Why is there like a oil tanker? Like, I can't stress to you how much this costs. Like to have like shit like that, like is crazy expensive.
We need to rent an oil tanker.
Literally, yes.
You can't. First
of all, I think they went to the Gulf of Mexico to shoot. They're not even shooting that in LA, so they're going like 4 states over to do that.
I mean, yeah, that's where they have oil tankers.
So it's like I think everyone's like over it. Everyone's like, Axel's insane. This doesn't make sense. No one has any idea what's happening. There's too much money, too much drugs, etc., so on and so forth. So. The other thing that I confused me too was like he talks about him going to heaven and then he wanted to do the dolphins instead. But then you said like his friends keep trying to save him and then ultimately the helicopter saves him at the end. Like he gets pulled up out. So I think best case scenario. So I'm going to go with what I think this is. Right.
Okay.
I think that's meant to be kind of like another spiritual death.
Yeah. That is what it kind of read as.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new beginnings and deaths and ego deaths and stuff like that where I'm on to the next phase kind of vibe.
Yeah, so because remember in the first one, she's pulling him down underwater and then he's like inside of his own grave looking up. And then there's all these images of that kind of stuff happening, but he's not dead by the end of it. He's reborn.
There's this symbolic death in all of them.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's sort of what's happening here too.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, too much money, not enough time. It's not enough development.
Yeah.
Also,
it was almost there.
It was almost there, yeah. And as you pointed out, it's like everyone, what did you say? It was really funny. You were like, despite having every opportunity to be saved.
He denied, everyone tried to save him, but he was like, I just want the dolphins to save.
He's like, no. He's like, this is about my own weird self-pity. Like, I need to focus on me. And like, this, the only thing that can save me is these dolphins.
Not my friends. That's the thing that it's like, okay, hold on. I'm losing the plot here because don't you want like people to save you? Or is this really just about, I don't know. It just felt very like self-indulgent.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so interesting about it. It's like, why would you include that if you didn't understand that is what they're doing, right?
I think it's probably I don't know how they were at the time, but it seems like they're all very divided and not working as a band anymore. And maybe that's like a symbol of that. Like they tried so many times to reach out and reach out and reach out, and he just wouldn't give them anything. Yeah. That he's driven them away. Maybe that was his recognition of it, that he's driven everybody away.
While also driving them away at the same time, which is the weird paradox of all of this.
Crazy, because doing that drove them away more. And then what,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
So, I think it was like a kind of a clumsy attempt at being like, oh, I'm the issue.
Yeah.
You know, like, maybe I'm the problem. Oh, too late.
And the idea of his whole entourage leaving dressed in white is very interesting. Yeah. Which I don't really get what they're getting at, but like, his old life is dead and they're all going to like whatever heaven, and he's mourning the fame and the success and the hangers on.
They're all leaving the house and
so like maybe that's part of his rebirth.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but the imagery is interesting, but it doesn't really seem to congeal in any specific way except for the dolphins.
Oh man, it's all that matters. Dolphins. At the end of the day, there's dolphins.
Dolphins are all that matters.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of dissonance here. There's a lot of dissonance.
I can see why this has haunted you for 30 years.
Yeah, and it's kind of like they do like one or two, I think they do maybe one more music videos. I want to say it's Since I Can't Have You is the song, I think.
Oh.
And I think it's the last one that they end up filming. And then they basically are like, because technically Guns N' Roses never officially breaks up because Axl
really?
goes insane and he forces everybody he like strong arms them into signing the rights of the name over to Guns N' Roses. I'm sorry, the name of Guns N' Roses over to him. And so he like Slash gets fired from the band and like Duff quit. So basically like everyone's gone from the band except for Axl. So there's like 20 years where Axl is the only person who's in Guns N' Roses. It's him and Dizzy. Yeah. Dizzy, who's the keyboardist. So like he owns the name of Guns N' Roses, and like there's all these legal battles and stuff, and then they released Chinese Democracy, and it kind of is like whatever, but no one's in it. So when they started doing the tour a couple of years ago, it was like 10 years ago, I guess now. That was like when Slash and Duff finally came back. So it's like the core kind of members. That's why it was a big deal. Oh. Yeah. So a lot of dissonance here, and that's essentially is like the swan song of Guns N' Roses as far as the as what Dolphin people song. Knew them as. The Dolphin song. Yes, thank you. And 30 years later, as I like to quote Burn After Reading. So what did we learn, Palmer?
Do you want me to answer that?
Does hindsight give us any clarity? And I have a hot take on it that no one else has pointed out because no one else has ever been as unemployed as me to like piece this all together.
The combination of unemployed and obsessive really does create innovation.
Yes. So I have a take on all of this.
Okay, I want to hear your take because to me it just seems like kind of thrown together. I mean, it shows like the fall, like I said, the folly of fame and the trap of ego and being in control and everyone doing things around you and still, it's almost like I keep saying narcissism, but it's almost like each thing is just an out version of himself that he's doing. I don't know how to describe, like even the women, everything's just like a version of him that he sees the world as.
Through his own lens of himself.
I think there's a deep, narcissistic, immature way of seeing this, and it seems like it drove everyone away. Everyone. Yep.
And it ended his idea of the empire crumbled, so to speak.
Yeah, and then he just held on, and he just kept going, and he held on, and it's like, you can't, I don't know, maybe stop.
Yeah. Okay, maybe, so I think, did you have more to say? I'm sorry, I didn't want to
No, that's just kind of what I came away with.
Okay. So I didn't figure this out until like the way end of writing this tab, and then I'm like,
really?
Oh, I see what this is. This is why I've been fixated on it in terms of what the story is. That's interesting.
Is there an animal where it shouldn't be?
Yeah, right. No. You're gonna love this. I think, and this is considering the trilogy of the music videos, the short story, and Axl's own life. So to fully understand this, you have to understand all of these things together.
Right.
They're all
like a thesis.
It's a thesis. It's all together. It's not separate. And that's the problem, is that people are trying to just think about just the music video when really you have to be watching the making of the music videos, and you have to know the making of how Axl Rose became what he was. And you have to also know about Del James and the story that was written.
Okay.
All
right.
You ready?
I'm excited. Yeah.
And I have two ways of thinking about this, but I'm going to use the reference that I know you will understand. Okay. My hot take is that this is the story basically of Macbeth.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. What? Okay. I'm so excited. I'm so happy right now. You said Macbeth and I felt like pure joy. Please tell me how.
Don't tell me what you're thinking.
No, I mean, it is very much like he's very much a Macbeth figure, and that by the end of the play, Macbeth is insane. Everyone's gone. He got so paranoid that he drove, what was it? He killed Duncan. They killed Duncan, and living with the guilt of killing somebody and eating you alive until your entire country is no longer yours and everyone around you is out to get you, so you think. And the witches, the witches.
Del James gave him a vision of his future.
Del James is the witches. Oh, what? Okay, bro. His whole trajectory is 100% Macbeth. He builds this empire or inherits this empire or whatever, and then he destroys it through paranoia and suspicion and greed and human folly and all of it. Oh, okay. I love everything's Shakespeare, man. At the end of the day, Vice Principals is Shakespeare. Axl Rose is Shakespeare. Okay, you tell me everything.
That's it. You got it. I mean, basically, you got it. Yeah. I was like, that's it. Del James is his witch that tells him his future.
Yeah.
So the other way I thought about this at first,
and he
before I
tries
realized
to not follow that future. That's the thing with
exactly.
Macbeth. He's like, I'm not listening to you. And then
Yep.
through not listening, he ends up doing everything the witches say.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Incredible. It's incredible. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I more wanted you to, I was giving you this as like your thing to sort of
Well, yeah, I'm
piece together because I think it's interesting. I'm like, I had that moment.
It's ego.
It's ego. It's control. It's like
it's
this.
Control. It's ruling over
control.
people. I mean,
yep.
That's why we shouldn't have kings, because they're one person who can easily be influenced by witches and ghosts, like of their past or their wives, or like, who was it? Did she talked him into killing somebody, right? It was Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth
she
was
talks
the
him
one
into killing a lot of people. I don't remember who are the
and it's just
but yeah,
being like intertwined with this woman who is also insane and self-destructive, and the entire Scotland falling and him losing his kingdom.
That's the empire. The empire of Guns N' Roses completely collapses by the end of it. Like the band ceases to be. That's basically his kingdom. So King Axel essentially like pushes everybody away and he dies. Yeah. And it's like, to me also, Macbeth, the genre that I would put it into in my own brain is like, I consider that like what did I call it? I wrote it down. I said it's a time travel tragedy.
Yeah.
So it's this person who is able to, in a way, go to the future and see what their life is going to be. And then they go back to the present and they're like, I'm not going to make the same mistakes as this vision that's given me. And in that process of thinking he has control, every decision he's making is pushing him further and further, ironically, back towards the exact thing that he thought he wasn't going to do, but in a so much more catastrophic way.
Yeah.
And granted, he doesn't die in a fire, right? Like sort of playing on the piano while all the guitars have gone back. But like he screwed everybody over in his life. He's destroyed this empire that like he had built that actually like, you know, used to mean something.
Could have been good.
Could have been good. Yeah. And while main man, that character didn't know any better, it's somehow more tragic because Axel knew, and then he still kind of ended up going back towards this like weird, crazier, even worse outcome for it.
He made it worse just by trying to go against it, which is how a lot of things are in life. That's one of the biggest lessons from Macbeth, is that you can't control fate.
Yeah, exactly.
If there is fate, whatever it is, whatever happens, you can't control it one way or the other, because the control itself is going to result in what you don't want.
Yeah.
And no one wanted to be around him. And like at the end of Macbeth, he's left completely alone.
Yep.
He is his kingdom, and that kingdom is broken. Dang.
Exactly. And it's kind of crazy because, you know, Axl Rose, obviously not a stable individual, but to not know, it's funny because they would just hint at the story in like, they're like in the making of, they're like, oh, it's just this fun little story that like my friend wrote that like I got inspired. But I'm like, but if you think about Axl Rose as Macbeth, it's like this story has driven him insane over the course of those 10 years. And it caused him to spiral. And all this stuff comes from
toxic
this weird
love and
witch vision, like this vision given to him by a witch, in which he thinks that's.
Bro, once I realized that, I was like, oh, the witches, that's definitely Del James. That's crazy. And I wonder if, I mean, it probably wasn't meant for this, but like, that's just how, like, time and time again, these stories are told. And that's why we relate so much to these timeless stories of man's fall to ego and paranoia. And just again, we've got another one.
Yep.
Whoa.
And if I had, I took you guys on the process, like I just did this like every week. I was just writing this as I was sort of doing the research. But, you know, if I had really gone back, if I had really like done this properly, I would have come to this conclusion at the end of it and then be like, oh, it's Macbeth. And then I would have gone back and restructured all of this to be like, that would have been I came to my thesis at the end of this and I didn't realize it until having done all the research on it and read it.
Welcome to this podcast, everybody.
Yeah, so I'm sorry that I made you go through 3 episodes before I finally figured out what the Macbeth part of it was, but I thought it would be a fun reveal.
Because it was everything is very Shakespearean in how dramatic it is. And there are all these like stock characters and what is it, like the Jungian kind of thing where it's like very, I don't know, predictable characters in a good way. I mean, I liked it. It's crazy. Ah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'll say this. As I said, Guns N' Roses famously reunited about a decade ago with the main trio of Slash, Duff, and Axl. I did get to see them.
You did?
In Detroit. Yeah, when they first opened. Fun fact, I went with Logan, of course. It was like one of these weird random weekends that he was actually able to fly out. And then I was going out for Sarah's sister's wedding, funny enough. So there's weddings. It all ties back into each other. But
Oh.
We went to see them. Let me tell you, this is a paycheck reunion.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses, as much as I will absolutely love you guys forever, I think it is okay, nay, appropriate to imagine a future without you.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, retire. That was amazing.
Thank you.
You pulled it all together, man. Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you for bringing Shakespeare into it. You just activated me. And I mean, I had started reading Othello again recently because I wanted to do a whole episode about vice principals.
Yeah.
And that'll happen at some point because I didn't finish Othello. But no, there's these stories. This is what I love about Shakespeare. Like everyone like trashes England, but they got Shakespeare. That's good.
It's cool.
That's
Shakespeare
their thing.
Won. You got like that's the one thing in the good column, and then like all the
50,
colonial
000.
genocide is like 10 billion other
but
things. But Shakespeare, it's a good one.
Yeah. And
Paul McCartney is another good
Paul
one.
Paul McCartney's a nice one. Yeah. Beans on toast. Just kidding. Don't execute me, please. Anyway, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I'm glad. I'm so glad that I saw that at the end because I was like, oh, that's what this is.
It just tied it all
I can't believe
together.
I didn't pick it up at the beginning, but that's what it was. I basically wrote Macbeth by accident, and like that's what happened.
Incredible. Well, how should we close our tabs?
Should we close the tabs? Should we throw them off of a giant oil tanker and then have them drown, or should we have them get jizzed on until they die like the mechanical Jesus?
Not gonna do that one, but how about we do? They get thrown off an oil tanker, splash, and then we hear a
electric. Oh, okay, yeah. Dolphins. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe I can finally close this.
Close like 80. I'm sure you're closing so many.
It's been so long.
Okay.
You want to count us down?
Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Throw it off that tanker.
Oh man.
Around those tabs. Okay.
I'm free, Hannah. I'm free. This is 30 years. Finally free.
You can finally rest. You can sleep.
Listen, no one's got that take. Nobody has called this the story of Macbeth. I'm telling you, I'm the first one.
You're the first
you heard
one.
It here first.
And it is. You literally heard it here first. Okay. This is from Duru from Istanbul. And they say, hello, Kaveh, Hannah, and Alyssa. I don't know how to start this, so I'll just dive right in.
All right.
In ancient Greek culture, there was this festival called Dionysia. You're just going to have to deal. Sorry. Greece existed.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, they kind of like beat you guys, and I hate to say it, but...
Stole, Hannah. The word is stole.
Sorry. Stole. That is what they do. That's what they did. I always just like slander the Greeks, and I don't mean to. I'm just saying ancient Greece, they thought they were all... Anyway, I'm sorry for your loss, Persia.
Thank you.
Dionysia, I didn't look this up. There was a festival called Dionysia to honor the wine god Dionysus. I knew of the festival, but never actually looked into it until a Wikipedia rabbit hole brought me there. I mean, it makes sense that the festival honoring the god of madness and wine and fertility, etc., is going to be kind of unhinged.
Yeah.
But I did find some things that actually surprised me. First off, the origin myth of the festival is that a city brings a sculpture of Dionysus to Athens as a token of their new allyship. And Athens, being a total dick about it, refuses the sculpture and the god, which leads Dionysus to send a dick plague on the city of Athens.
Should have gotten your dick vaccines, you guys.
Yeah, maybe you should
get dick vaccinated so that a dick plague doesn't take you out.
When a bunch of Athenians get sick phalluses, they consult the oracle of Delphi, who tells them to make amends with Dionysus by throwing a big old party. Hence, Dionysia was born. Actually, there are two versions: one rural and one city that they throw per year in winter and spring, respectively. Highlights of this festival, the city Dionysia specifically, include carrying the aforementioned statue, carrying baskets, carrying wine, and carrying phalluses across the city to the theater. The phalluses were mostly made of wood and bronze, and were put on top of wooden sticks to carry, apparently. But then there was also the ultimate penis, which was so large that they had to carry it in a cart. It's like, here comes me and my wheelbarrow.
I can relate. I gotta drive around. I gotta walk around with a wheelbarrow often.
I knew that you'd love this. This is your daily life. Miserable.
It's perfect.
Guys, it's not
miserable.
all it's cracked up to be.
It's true. It's very painful.
Going on the subway with that?
I got to buy like an extra seat on the airplane. It's really
Every
expensive.
It takes up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Gross. Unfortunately, that's where the dick part of the Dionysia ends. But the festival had other crazy shit, like after the carrying stuff procession, there was a second procession called Komos, where drunk people walked rambunctiously. There was also a competition of plays.
Me walking rambunctiously.
Just with your gigantic wheelbarrow. You gotta steer that wheelbarrow around as you do it. Is he applauding? Okay.
Yeah, right.
This episode's been very phallic-centric, I'll say that.
Phallics.
That always is. Anyway, there was also a competition of plays to honor Dionysus, and the plays in the contest were announced the day after the procession. This announcement was also the perfect place to make announcements such as the death of a poet, how a rich guy did rich guy stuff, or showing off orphans from recent wars to honor their dads.
Like they parade them up on stage and they're
these
like,
guys
hey.
don't have dads anymore.
Yeah.
Poor kids are just like, there's giant dicks everywhere.
Is it a fashion?
My dad is dead. There's many, many other things about Dionysus that are that are worth mentioning, but it feels like it's already quite long. Anyway, sorry for the weird wordings that I'm sure are in there somewhere, and thanks for an entertaining podcast making me feel less alone in my unhinged ADHD self.
That's awesome.
Duru from Istanbul. Regrettably, not the first one from here, as I did indeed procrastinate sending you guys a topic for months at this point.
It's okay. We can have more than one listener email from Istanbul. Hell, we can have tens of them, like our listeners. Tens. For all of our we have twos of listeners in Istanbul.
In Istanbul, yeah. Again, a city I would love to go to and that you say is amazing.
It's amazing. I really like Istanbul. Somebody in the Discord was going to go to Istanbul. I forget who it was, but we were talking about
was it
cool
Jazz?
Stuff that was there. I don't know, probably.
Anyway.
Shout out to Jazz, who's always going to cool places.
I know. Celeb sighting. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Your turn.
Other than Nico, of course. Nico. Moving on to listener email number 2. It is a audio submission.
Nice.
3, 2, 1, play.
Hi, Alyssa, Kava, and Hannah. I'm greeting you in alphabetical order just so that you know that there's no favoritism here. You're all good. You're all good in my books. I'm a longtime listener of the show. I've been listening since episode 4 of Musical Splaining, and writing in for the first time is really exciting. So I'm not an open tab haver, and actually usually open all of my tabs in the private window because I'm really neurotic. But a few years ago, somebody put me onto a story that made me open a tab on my regular browser just so that I wouldn't lose it. Whoa. So this is the tale of Pender Guy, an independent community radio program that was produced here in Vancouver from the late 70s to early 80s. It was a project started by a group of young Chinese Canadian activists and artists who wanted to talk about Chinese Canadian issues, arts, and stories. Chinese people love word plays, and so the name of the show is one as well. Pender Guy references one of the main streets in our Chinatown, Pender Street. In Cantonese, we call that street Pinda Gai, Pinda being how you would read the name Pender, and Gai being the Cantonese word for street. And of course, when you have a group of young Chinese Canadian dudes doing a project about Chinatown, those are all Pender Guys. Audio archives of the program can now be accessed on the City of Vancouver Archives database, as can photos and other materials of the production. Like most Chinatowns in the Americas, rapid gentrification has meant the loss of important cultural legacy businesses and the displacement of lower-income ethnic and immigrant communities in the area. Despite this, as a Chinese settler living in Vancouver who grew up frequenting the neighborhood, it is heartening to see efforts being made to preserve records of the vibrant Chinatown community as it was back then. I hope reading about Pender Guy will prompt you to consider the history, legacy, and culture of your local Chinatowns and how you can support the residents and businesses who call that place home. Thanks so much for reading my tab. I love the pod. I'm so grateful to have your company when I work, do chores, or commute around town. Life, honestly, is pretty freaking miserable a lot of the times, but the podcast is one of those lighter things that keep me afloat and grounded throughout the week. So thank you so much for doing that. I hope you're all hanging in there.
That's so nice. That is so nice. That I'm glad that this can ground somebody.
Thank you, Leslie. It's always wonderful to hear that, because we're always like, I don't know why the hell we do this.
What are we doing? Yeah.
So, it's also nice to hear it from an actual voice recording.
Yes.
We're like, oh, it's not like a robot that wrote this email. It's like actual. I guess you could say that's AI. I'm already ruining it. Thank you. I'm just going to stop. Leslie, thank you.
That was very
kind.
lovely. And our Chinatown, San Francisco Chinatown.
Yeah, I was going to say San Francisco Chinatown.
Favorite places.
Yeah.
It's the oldest.
It's also taken
a
little bit of a hit, right? I think as far as the past couple of years are concerned.
Yes. I mean, my favorite story about the San Francisco Chinatown, I think I've told this in one episode, where after the earthquake, everyone tried to like buy up the land and take it from them. And they were like, we're going to build it bigger. How about that? And they built it like twice as big to spite all of the white people.
Good. I love and spite. We love a spite restaurant, or a spite home, or a spite section of town, I guess we'd call it.
Yeah.
Spite neighborhood.
Area. They're like, we built this city. Yeah. So, sorry, we get downtown.
And not on rock and roll.
Bye. And not on rock and roll, because you brought us here to do this. Anyway, I love our Chinatown. It's so great. It's one of my favorite bow places is there. And I gotta go up.
Did you ever go to Sam Wo?
No.
It was like it was the first time I ever saw what a dumbwaiter was. I'd never seen it before.
Oh, dumbwaiters are crazy.
Yeah, I was a teenager. We went to, I think they closed Sam Wo. So this is from like a million years ago when I was there.
What I've noticed is that there is still a huge, vibrant community there.
Of course,
and like, especially if you don't, because it's not getting as gentrified as you'd think. I think San Francisco. So hopefully it stays that way. We'll see. Anyway, thank you, Leslie.
Leslie, I've never been to Vancouver. Have you been to Vancouver?
I have. I was like 5 or 6 when I went. I don't really remember it. I remember being on a ferry.
Okay.
Or was that Vancouver Island? You know what? I've never been to Vancouver.
I would love to go to Vancouver and check out, what was it, Pender Guy Street?
Yeah.
Is that what it was
Pender
called?
Street.
Pender Street. Maybe we could join the Pender Guys. That sounds weird. I don't even know where that's
Pender
going.
Guys.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Check these guys out.
Pender Bros.
They look so cool. They're just like, what's up? That
would be awesome.
I guess they reunited in 2021.
Nice.
Cool. Okay. Well, yeah.
Awesome.
So
shout out to your local cities, your city's local Chinatowns.
Yeah.
Or is it Chinatowns? Chinatowns is.
I think Chinatowns is. I'm going to save you from yourself and say, if you also want to send in an email or a voice note, you can email 500opentabs@gmail.com, 500. You can also follow us on Blue Sky and Instagram at 500opentabs, and me at Hannah Hillam, and this guy at.
I'm at PermaFriends on Instagram, and of course, Cobbitarian on Blue Sky. If you are around the San Jose area this week, South Bay people. Also, if you're in the Bay, if you're in the Peninsula, if you're in the East Bay, if you're in the North Bay, if you're in Richmond, I'm just going to shout out different places that people will be like, hey, I know that.
Your local darlings. How about that?
If you're from Redwood City, come
shout out.
Visit,
Isn't that where you were
because
born?
that's where I was born. My Redwood City people.
Why don't I know where you...
Come support.
Yeah. Sunnyvale.
Buddies,
come on.
Come hang out.
Come on.
Campbell. If you're from Campbell. Mountain
Campbell
View.
is literally like, I can see it from my window.
Alameda. Berkeley. Oakland.
East Alum Rock. Gilroy. Bring some garlic.
Bring some garlic. I was going to say, bring some garlic from Gilroy.
Place genuinely smells like garlic.
We're just listing places in the Bay Area right now, which is exciting.
Los Altos.
San Carlos. If you want to come from San Carlos,
San
you
Mateo.
can come there. San Mateo. Millbrae. We love your train station. That's where it ends.
Not Milpitas. Sorry, guys.
We don't want people. I don't know why, but I'm ride and die. So I'm just like, I don't want.
Smells like garbage. No offense, but all the offense.
I have not been to Milpitas in decades, so I couldn't even tell you. But I'm just going to agree with you because you're my friend and I'm going to trust you.
Okay.
But anyway, yes, GalaxyCon this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I believe it's the 14, 15, 16 or 15, 16, 17.
Could be 15th through the I think it's 15th through the 17th. But
15th to the 17th, we will be there. We will have books. We will have prints. We will have drawings. We will have ourselves. And if all goes well, we will have the automaton Jesus ready.
We're bringing him.
We're going to not put universal fluid on it because that's inappropriate, but we will be slathering it in Marmite, hopefully.
We will. The British universal fluid.
Yeah.
Ooh, I just... too much universal fluid.
She drank too much which means it's time to end the episode. Hannah, in the meantime, I will see you at the Richard Nixon, Secundus Nixon toilet. I'm trying to string them all together, and I gotta
like
figure
someone had
out.
a gun to your head, and you were like, "Fine, I'll do it."
I don't remember. It's the Dickie Nixie Icarus toilet in the sky.
And I'm gonna go with traditionalist stuff, and gonna say keep it Josie.
Keep it Josie, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye. Bye. Never know how to do this. Making it weird.